Morning to you all. We'll get to what a lot of us are talking about, what is coming on the weather front. Michelle McDougall with that in a few minutes. But right now, 8 o'clock on the nose, we dive into the top headlines on this Thursday morning. Shock and disbelief in the Elk Island School Division as one of their teachers now facing serious sexual allegations.
1 count each of sexual interference, sexual exploitation, invitation to sexual touching, child luring, committing a sexual offense against a child, and sexual assault.
RCMP say 32-year-old Brett Daniel Middlestead of Strathcona County faces 6 sex-related charges involving a female student. Police say they received a complaint on Monday about encounters that allegedly took place over 19 months, ending last September.
How can we trust anybody that's a teacher within the province? I mean, we all do our best to vet our people. We do the proper record checks, vulnerable service checks, criminal record checks. We get our information from our priests about references. We do our due diligence.
There's no information right now that suggests that there could potentially be other victims. But again, we can't be closed-minded to that fact either. But as of right now, there's no information to suggest that there's further victims.
For me at the courthouse.
Middlestead was teaching at the K-9 Holy Redeemer Catholic School. He has been released from custody, slated to appear next in a Sherwood Park courtroom on March 11th. Edmonton taxi companies and the city have been on the offensive now for several weeks as Uber attempts to enter the marketplace. However, one local taxi passenger is raising concerns over standard cab service after she was left out in the cold for a rather peculiar reason. David Green explains in this City News exclusive.
Workman is a student who lives a 20-minute walk away from the University of Alberta.
It was 3:30 in the morning and I didn't really feel safe walking. So I approached a cab that had its higher light on. He was parked here at Hub Mall.
The co-op taxi driver asked Workman for her address.
And he said, well, give me $10. And I said, excuse me, like $10? I was like, I have only debit. I'll give you something. He's like, no, I won't take you. And I asked him why, and he flat out told me that he was refusing me because I live too close.
Workman was forced to stand next to the taxi cab while she waited for another co-op taxi, a wait which took more than 15 minutes.
I got home in $6 and 5 minutes.
An official complaint has been filed with the co-op taxi service and the City of Edmonton.
It's a $1,000 fine for refusing, and if it occurs more than once, the officers have the authority to demand a mandatory court appearance.
Uber has been gaining public support by offering free rides. Workman has taken advantage of the deal.
I can understand the controversy around it, but really if we're not allowing people to express the need for an alternative taxi, then how can we leave people standing at the side of the road at 3:30 in the morning? It's either one or the other.
A spokesperson for Co-op Taxi refused to go on camera, but released a statement to City News saying, "The driver in this case was terminated ASAP. We do not tolerate this behavior. All drivers must complete a customer service course." Workman says she's disappointed that the incident had to come to this point and just wants patrons to be more respected by drivers. A better public image by taxi services could help their arguments against Uber. David Green, City News.
And of course, we are asking for your feedback on our Facebook page. What do you think about this story? Let us know again on our Facebook page. Well, if you live near railroad tracks and get woken up by a loud whistle at night, this might be some good news for you. The city, set to look at railway crossings around the city, are asking for a list of controlled and uncontrolled spots. Residents in the north end are complaining about the noise and safety issues. Many say the train's going too fast.
When they're speeding by, I think that's when it shakes the house more. So if they slow down when they're passing through the residence area, it would be really great too.
It's a safety issue as well as a quality of life issue. And so really beginning to look at it, initiated the safety study on the one in the northwest and finding out if there's other spots we're going to need to look at.
The city will focus on the crossing at 162nd Avenue. Residents are also asking the trains to stop blowing their whistles. Reports on that crossing safety due back in June. Well, there's a new wrinkle in the debate over demerit points for speeding. The head of Alberta's Injury Prevention Clinic wants to dock points for photo radar tickets. Don Voklander points to speeding numbers from last week, more than 1,000 tickets handed out Monday in school zones. He says the message not being received by most Edmontonians. He points to the model used in Australia as a possible solution.
They've decided to link points to photo radar so that the registered owner of the vehicle gets points if their car's caught speeding, and if they can't find anybody that was driving the car, say their son or their daughter or whoever, then they have to assume the points themselves.
So we can't as council, which is the frustrating thing. I think there would absolutely be desire to see that, especially in school zones, but that would require a provincial change.
Alberta Transportation says the idea isn't feasible, as it's impossible to know just who's behind the wheel when the photo is snapped. Well, a teen race car driver is encouraging his peers to pump the brakes on distracted driving. 20 to 30% of all collisions in our province are as a result of distracted driving. Parker Thompson, now traveling across the province, hoping to encourage those numbers to drop. The 16-year-old Red Deer racer says he never takes his eye off the track and that it should be the same on highways. The hope is these future drivers will learn the lesson before they learn how to drive.
If I get up there and just speak, we lose them, but Parker can relate to them, they relate to him. He's enthusiastic, a great speaker, and he keeps them listening, and they get the message.
It is extremely dangerous, 23 times more dangerous than it would be if you're driving focused. And it's just, you know what, saving lives, saving the community of Alberta, and if we can do that, even if we can save a few lives, I'd be happy.
Fines for distracting in Alberta currently $172. A rare unanimous vote at the legislature for an unexpected reason. To deal with the billion-dollar shortfalls as a result of low oil revenues, politicians have agreed to cut their salaries by 5%. Follows a similar slash to cabinet salaries. MLAs on the All-Party Members Services Committee voted unanimously to approve the motion. Those cuts are effective immediately. Well, the doors have just opened to bargain hunters in our city. Target opening about 7 minutes ago as it begins its nationwide liquidation sale. Prices expected to be cut by up to 30% as of this morning. Now, early returns from the east have sales mostly in the 10 to 20% off range. As you can see, a small smattering of people live this morning out at Kingsway Mall. Target says it expects to close all 133 Canadian stores permanently come May. 8:07, and we turn things